Thank you, thank you. And I always feel the Eden Pranic Centre is such a perfect word. And some may know my story and some may not know my story. And I call myself a little bit of an unconventional breatharian, whatever the term breatharian means. But I think it means to me unification with the greater one within us, where we're not separated at all. And I come from the space of love and love nourishment. And on that spot of opening up our hearts even greater than greater and falling deeper and surrendering into that space more and more. I have notes here, but I never actually refer to them very often because I like to feel all of you. I want to feel your heart. I like to ask you questions and even for you to ask me questions towards the end. So I will just go in the state of flow, whatever that needs to be received, because we know that receiving love can only be given in the power that you can actually receive it. And this is where it comes down to your own soul sovereignty and your inner guidance within you. I've been on this journey, if you want to call it this particular aspect of this human life, for 6 years. And I never ever did it for reasons of health or wanting to give up food or any of those things that maybe people may ask for themselves or want to will that through. I did it for, I don't even know if I even did it. I think it's something that as we came onto this planet in our human form, in our vessel that we are, there's something very unique about people like us and souls like us, and we are family because we are never separated. And if you can look back within yourself in your childlike form and be in that present moment, you already knew. And the mind will always separate us from all that. And people refer to the mind as program mind, the evil one, the trickster. I call it the little Ranjeet or the little you. It's always playing games. But we know that we came here for one thing, is to be more intimate. And if we stop seeking, it will seek you greater. Because once we stop thinking, and the thought, and there is can only be one thought, which is the one that is greater one in you, then the heart will automatically open up. And I talk mainly with the two centers. I don't talk chakras. I don't talk yoga words. I don't talk philosophy. I won't talk hardly any scripture. I talk about the book of wisdom that's already inside of you. I will talk about two places, the heart, and as some people call them, the sexual energy. I call it the orgasmic state. Because for some reason, these two spots, the fire and the love, when they unite together, the mind just opens up. And we want to feel it all and be intimate with it all and be intimate with our light. So when I came to this thing of giving up food, which I never actually thought I actually even gave up, I like to share my experience with you, which was 6 years ago. And it's definitely 6 years ago because it was in August, around my so-called birth date or trips around the sun, because I'll be 54 on the 23rd, according to the economic calendar here. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with everything. I love everything and I love all of it. I love this world and I love this planet. Our wombs are the planet. But when I gave up, I didn't give up anything. I actually gained. I gained more. I have no relationship with food. There is no emotions with it. There is nothing. And one of the easiest ones that I gave up, which was curries and Indian food, which is my heritage food, it was gone within an instant. I never actually had to have a process with it. There was no process. I came, I think, because I craved for the only one hunger, which was the hunger of the greater one within us. And to me, it's Christ, it's the light, it's the love. I just wanted to die with that. But I didn't realize my mind had to die. It's just that I wanted to die. The little Ranjeet wanted to die. And I've always, from the moment being born on this planet, it was always about love. It was always about everything is already forgiven. Everything is already done. It was always about this presence inside of us, like right now, that all time actually stopped. So when I said yes to something, I did not realize what was going to happen, because I didn't even know Eden Pranic Center existed. I didn't even know that there were things like breatharians. And I think I entered into a gateway, into a gateway of the universe at that time that actually prepared me already before I even knew if I was ready. And it wasn't so difficult for me. But I hear of all the hardships and challenges and what people have. And if you could just love yourself a little bit more, it wouldn't be so much like that. We hear all these words and terminologies like physical form and emotional body and the mental body and the spiritual body and the limitless places. But here you are in all that, everything inside of you. And if we can love all that greater inside of us, then all that is forgiven, because it is given in the forever, ever love affair. So I was kind of taken over, I think, and I allowed that to happen because the love felt so great inside of me that I hungered and I'd said yes. There was this form of agreement with the little Ranjeet, but it didn't feel like I was making an agreement. It felt more like I'm home. And I was always, always home. Always home. And I was home with all of you. And I knew already then, before I came onto the planet, I had imaginary friends. There was lots of different miracles, and miracles are normal. The phenomena is normal, but many will get caught up in that phenomena. So I was actually led to what was called some sort of fasting system. And I don't care about the word fasting so much, because fasting is so much about the physical body only, you know, how the body adapts, what you eat and what you don't eat, what suits and what suits. This is all this language around it, which even that holds you stuck with inside of yourself. Because why? Because you want to try and figure it all out in your mind. The ego comes in play, the subtleness comes in play. But if you were 9 months in the womb of your mother, Mother Earth, and that Mother Earth took care of you, there was no thinking there. It was all energy. It was pure. We come here and we want to try and figure it all out for ourselves because we're so smart. But we're not. We're just a technological form. And if we work out that we're completely an energetic, magnetic, electrical, light, plasma, we are everything. We are the one dimension. And I just felt just to let go of it all And I did that. But when you let go completely, or if you're not holding on to anything, may I say this to you, that your life will be transformed, will be transferred, and many things around you that are happening, it all changes. Everything gets stripped away. And that did happen to me. I was a corporate woman, I was a general manager, and everything got stripped away. But I was in the greatest, greatest joy. So food for me wasn't so much a challenge because I could live with the greater one inside of me no matter where I was. I could be in the universe, I could be on the planet, I could be with people even confronting me. I could still be in that place of joy. And it was like, what is this? You know, what is this place? And when I said yes, all I could hear were the greatest sounds in my body. I couldn't hear the outside world. It was all sounds inside of me. And then I recognized that, oh my gosh, I am the sun. I am the moon. I am the stars. I am the universe. And we will feed you. We will nourish you. We will give you everything that you require because nothing outside of you is ever needed. You are the greatest power source that is sitting there right now. And we are all connected. We are all connected. I asked this question. I said, for some reason, people keep asking me, when you give up food, if you give up food, how do I deal with cravings? I did not know what cravings was, but people were asking me these questions, and I didn't have any answer for cravings. I said, I just crave for the greater one in me. And if I wanted to taste anything, I was taken to a space, a room, and I called it my feast table. And I could taste everything that I wanted to taste and things that I've never ever tasted before. And it was like I already had it. So food was not sort of a thing that I had to give up. Food comes from a place of thought. I think it was thoughts that maybe that I had to dissolve. And these thoughts move into different energy forms, and sometimes we call them dense matter and all these things. And I don't think it's for everybody because for some reasons, when you will this through your mind, you will have more challenges. But when you surrender through your heart and the portal of your heart, which I call it the Son of God and the Sun through that place, then it just seems to be something more magical. But the ego will come in, the mind will come in because of the fear. And not so much the fear of here, but the fear of the light, because it is highly intense. I mean, there's many times I could not lift myself up from the floor, or I'd fall on the floor, and because the energy is so strong. And you can't explain this to anybody, no matter what words you use or what colors you see and what sounds you hear through your body. But other people can feel it. So you recognize being in this place is never for you. It was for everybody else, every other human to connect into something more magical together. And I used to feel, and I still feel right now, that I am there inside of you, that we are all together and nourishing all together. And there's so many things that fell away, all words, all psychological words, even things like trauma. Trauma doesn't exist. And it is just that we become more empty. And as we become more empty, we become more full. So I never had this issue with food, and I have never really truly thought about it. And as I was in this fasting system, I was doing like 108 days, I thought. But once I entered in, I knew one thing, that I would never ever come back. So as soon as I took the step, I knew I could never ever look back. I couldn't look back and I couldn't look sideways. I actually had to just look inside and just feel the light, and I felt it. And as soon as I did that, I was taken. And I was happy to be taken. I was happy to surrender. I was happy to submit to something greater in me. And I felt guided. I felt guided in all sorts of things. And I noticed, like with the breatharian world and talking to people here, and now a lot of them have become my very, very dear brothers and sisters. There are some similar patterns in this journey. So that gave me some awareness to understand that I went through something that most people may not ever go through, or close not to go through. And it was so beautiful, and it still is. It's like, it feels like I'm here for the first time, and everything is complete. There is nothing we need. We already have it. And you are already healed, because most of you come for healing. Most of you come for something else. But did you come to be with yourself? Did you come to be intimate with you? Because I know we are all seeking intimacy. We're all seeking that place to be more in the fire, more in the passion, more in the joy, more in these orgasmic states. So I did 108 days. It was the first thing I actually did do. And it was pretty much having nothing and some, I call it dead juice, which made me feel alive, which is probably washing whatever I needed to wash out. And I have 3 beings with me, and I actually have seen them once, only once in my life, and will share that with you. So I want to share some things that happened to me before I actually got to this place 6 years ago, because there were some interesting things that happened. And they said, we brought you to this place for fasting because we don't actually want you to fast. We want you to be completely dry. And I didn't even know what dry was. I said, what's dry? I don't know what that is. And they said, like having nothing, no water, no nothing, and to be completely with us. And I went, okay. I said, yes. And I noticed lots of changes in my body. Obviously, you have transformation. I got really kind of, if you want to say, in the world compared to other people, maybe very thin. But I noticed my body also gained muscle as well. And I went on and I continued, and I could never go back. And I had a little break when I actually had some fruit for a little while, because that was suggested, but I never wanted to do that. And it hurt me to even have mango. And I stopped it. And it was great to taste in your mouth. But when you recognize, oh my gosh, I am the mango, I am everything. Why am I eating it? And then I even had challenges to actually cut fruit with a knife, because I felt like I was cutting me. I was like, I can't do this. I can't cut a lemon. There's so many things that happen. And I used to still do, it still happens. I can go to a food store and I can pick up a tomato and I can hold it in my hand, and I was being guided that that tomato was being intimate with me, and I was being intimate with the tomato, and I was sourcing its nutrients, whatever I needed for my body. And I just went with it. But what I found out through that particular aspect, and I was with this fasting system for nearly 518 days because other people counted the days. And because I was dissolving in front of other people without me not knowing that that was happening. So there are a lot of people that do actually watch me and have watched me for 6 years on my journey. And a lot of it actually has been on video. And you can watch them. So I was sourcing and recognizing that I was starting to be intimate with the molecule in the air. And we were becoming unified together. And there was information that was coming through my body. We all become tree lovers for sure in this journey, because we have to also be grounded here. It is one of the most glorious things to be a human. We are such miracles. Every cell in your body is so pure. It's so pure, it's so innocent, it's magical. And the nucleus of your cell, which is the atom, is the source of everything, because you are the center of your universe. Everything is in you. You can produce and create everything inside of you. But listen to the guidance in you. And the question is, how do I do that? Well, there isn't really any questions, because we open our hearts and we fall into it. We fall into it so deep. But don't do it through the will of your mind. Do it from the place of surrendering. And just be in that space. I really want to come through with the I am more here, because I can say to you, there are so many different pathways. There are so many different ways you can learn about this. There'll be science that will give you evidence. There'll be ancient texts that will give you evidence. There'll be all different philosophies. They're all different ideologies. I never went up to any mountain or anything like that. I never done any yoga. I've never done any courses or any of those things. I said to my free beings and angels, I said, if you want me to do this, I want to be exactly where I am. I want to be able to face everything, even when I became with no home and all money was stripped away from me. Everything, even I used to have a car, no car, my job, I had a 20-year marriage, everything was given to the universe in glory, because it will always be returned. It's just borrowed. But when it becomes returned, it comes returned in purity. It comes returned in good foundation and soil. I wanted to break away from it all, but I wanted to do it exactly where I am, because I love so much and I want to face it all. I want to face everything in the mirror. I wanted to see everything, past, present, and future. And I'm gutsy. Little Ranjeet's gutsy, because I have physically died once before when I was around 16, 17. And I also have been died once before as a form of a born again, because my husband was so ill that we wanted to be with Jesus at that time. And my third death is this one, the full dissolvement. And they're all so beautiful. And they're all formed a pattern within itself. And it just makes me want to sing more and more to say, you don't have to go all the way. You can just be exactly where you are. But open up your heart, like really open it up. Have you said to people, have you said to yourself, I love you? You know, anyone that comes into my space, they have to tell me they love me, not because they love me, so they can love themselves more. But not love from the mind, love from this energy place, like how you were created for the first time as a human. The gratitude and the appreciation that you feel within you. Like when you come to this spot, everything else in the mind just slips away. It goes to the back and you become the master of the mind, not the mind becoming the master. So 6 years ago, I started the no food journey, and I'm still on the no food journey. I live on liquids, wets, and dries to me. And I don't care if anyone eats around me. I don't care for any of that. Because if they do, I will love on you anyway. You know, I don't care about what diets people do, if they have fruit, or even if they even eat meat, or even if they eat salad. It does not bother me because I have no relationship with it. All I do is I love on that what you may consume. I love on everything that else is around you. Everything has light in it. There is no good or bad or indifference or judgment. There is only this with us right now. Ese mohe ki asa, ese masea. There's just so much of this that feeds us. We kind of intellectually know everything, but we never be in it. Like to be in that. I created a group in Facebook, which I never wanted to do. I just wanted to be by myself. Like in this journey, you kind of don't want to have humans around you so much. You want to be with nature, you want to be playing, you want to be childlike. But there's something else that happens is we come into service. There's a great responsibility, I find, living this type of lifestyle because you recognize that you're not here for you, the little Ranjeet, the little mind of who you are. You recognize that you're here for something greater. The greater one wants to work through you, in you, and through others. And this is where the love becomes more and more grand. Because as you do that, that energy sources and feeds you more in every moment. And the unknown becomes a place that you feel a little bit familiar with. Because the unknown is your friend. And so the mind does not know what's going on. The programs aren't there. And that's what makes it so much more beautiful and so childlike and wondrous and magical. And that's where I like all of us to be. You know, I can talk with a lot of fire if I want to, but I just want you to give up on whatever you're trying to do and come home and be with each other, be with all of us and go serve. because it's easy just to, you know, like I face everything I am. I've got 48 cousins. I come from an Indian heritage, a Punjabi family. My mum is one of 9, my dad is one of 5, and I face all my family. I face it all. You can run away and hide behind trees until you face it all. Go to your family and see how that goes. Not that you have to, but if you can love yourself, you can love greater. And I just want you to give up controlling the will of the mind for food. There is always activation. So I feel you coming to the retreat, the Pranic Center, that there will be activation within you. And there'll be challenges when you actually go back to where your home is, the physical place, because you're going to hunger for this more and more. And that's why you need places like this, community, a sense of belonging, and that love to support you, because it's very challenging to do this on your own. And I recognize that. And that's why I have a group which is called Deep Dive into the Soul, and everyone's always welcome. And we do this thing called 9 months to 9 days. And it follows the cycles, the seasons, and the new moon and the full moon. And there's something about universal patterns. There's something a little bit about numbers, of course. There is something about the science that can support you. And I do believe the Eden Pranic Center do 9 days initiation and 21 days initiation. You require that support. Because when you do this on your own, if you're willing this through the mind, there can be challenges. I've had many conversations with people who have gone into psychological psychosis. And because the will of the mind and being stuck in lower places, in darkness, or in their trauma, that illusion in the limitless world comes into the body. And this is why it's so important to love yourself, to really go deep into the heart and be in that place. Because when you go on this journey, one of the things is that everything is cleansed to love. Everything is taken away. Everything is gone. So there is no wounding. There is none of those things happening. The only thing that's happening is the wounding of all time in all places. But when you move all this through your body, you need help and you need guidance. And that place comes from love, because it will dissolve everything fast. It won't do it through the mind. It would do it from that place. And the other thing I talk about a lot, because I don't like the word celibacy so much. Because when you become unified with the fire, I call it the orgasmic state. It's the greatest feeling because there's no thoughts. There's no thoughts of any of those things. And when you move that particular energy through your body, it can dissolve very, very fast, as long as your heart is there, not the thoughts. And you can move this energy through your body and you can self-heal yourself. And you can also heal others around you. You end up becoming a walking fire of light. So it's been 11 years of celibacy. And the celibacy actually occurred before I stopped eating food. And it's something that's been quite pure in me from a very young, ever since I've been able to be a woman. It's been something very pure, because there's this feeling that you want to give yourself completely over to the greater one in that way. And that too also feeds you. And you end up becoming much more highly sexual as well, because the womb becomes more pure and pristine and clean. And you recognize that you have to be careful also, even in that situation, because there are lots of energies that will come towards you. So celibacy is so pure that you end up marrying everything else. You marry it all. And that too will nourish you and feed you. And it also provides an interesting place for youth to keep you much more youthful and younger and vibrancy. Sometimes I do think it is the secret sauce in some ways when you become more pure and clean and not in non-consumption of dense matter. You actually come to a place where you want to be more in purity with the divine. You want to give yourself something over to that. So you become into that marriage and united, as they talk about in yogis and breatharians, is that unification. That when you feel that, you go, there is no way that you could ever turn back. There's no way. This is the glory. This is the treasures in your belly. This is the abundance. This is the earth and all the resources that sit in your belly. And you can feel it. And the more pure your womb is, and we all have wombs, no matter if you're male or female, you know, we all have that place that just brings everything up, and you can bring that into your heart. And you can just love greater into the atmosphere, and the atmosphere loves you back. It's like, how did this dance happen? It was always there. And the joy in this is just so magical. Like you can cry just continually. And like it's just so much, you can't explain this to anybody. And I believe in this. There is a new gateway coming for this. There was the gateway where there was a period of time where, like myself, I fell into it. I was prepared for it without me knowing. But there is another one coming because our bodies are technologically advancing faster and faster. And we have to nurture this energy that's in us. We have to hold it within us. We have to know and be guided through us. It is just so incredible. And I want everyone to feel this. No matter what you hear, you know, everything else that you hear today will give you lots of confirmation. It will give you reassurance. But it is so magical. The sexual energy or the orgasmic state with opening up your heart, if you can take away those two things, letting go of the mind, allowing it to go back, just feeling this space of energy within you, this intensity in you, this purity in you, this nourishment in you. You go, wow, I do feel like I'm so young and youthful, like a baby again. You know, everything becomes plump. Everything becomes just like how it should be. Because we are meant to live long in the physical form. It is way past 150 or whatever they say, trips around the sun. And we are meant to be here to serve. I love being a human. I love being a human form here. Every moment that I get up, or if I rise, or whatever I do, if I rest in a space, when I open my eyes, I go, oh my gosh, the light here is so incredible. Why did you give me this gift? The sounds are just so amazing. Like I hear it for the first time when you hear the birds and the singing that's going on over there, when you hear the breeze through the trees, when you feel your feet on the ground and you can feel that electrical force from the earth, be in that moment of just such great appreciation that everything just slowed down for a moment and you are being nourished. You are being nourished to all the sounds and be there together. You come to find out how you can be more intimate with you, because intimacy is a beautiful energy to really unify yourself with the fire of love within inside of you. This place is such a divine space that nothing outside of you really, truly is needed. You have the greatest power inside of you, and this is your nourishment. This is your source of feeding. Don't worry about ascending. Be more concerned about how you descend. Because when you come back into your body with all this light and everything inside of you, you have a greater responsibility here. But don't will it through your mind. Surrender it into thy will. The I am that you are. The love. In love with love. It's everywhere. It's in every word. It's in every sound. It's in every breath. You are unified with the greater one already. I'm not sure if people have questions, but I like to honor any question that anybody has within them, no matter what it is, whatever question you want to ask me. I'm okay with that.
Thank you, Ranjeet. I just want to take 1 second for all of those who are here in presence at the Eden Center. We've got a chorus of cicadas going. We've got the beautiful smells of the grass. There's like a minty smell that comes off the grass, the warmth of the air right now, and this beautiful receiving from you. So it's quite a divine space here right now. Thank you. Just going to turn and see if there's anybody who has a question for Ranjeet here. Yeah, Varya.
Hello.
Hello. I
Yeah,
recognize you and I don't know why.
yeah, I seen you last year too.
Yeah.
And afterwards had kind of like a Kundalini awakening. And so I was asking myself, because you're also speaking about this intimacy and the heart opening of how you relate to Kundalini, or yeah.
I'd love to talk to that. Thank you for that question. I remember when I first, this is a really good one because you took me to a space right now. And I actually remember the first time I actually had this experience. And I never knew anything about Kundalini. I didn't know any of those things. And all I felt was this great force of electrical force go through my body. And it actually felt like it did start from the soles of my feet and move up. And then I did feel it in my womb area. But then as it grew, it was so fast that it just flew out of my hand. And I kind of lay down and I said this in the mind of Ranjeet. I said, what just happened? And I remember my three beings being there, and they said that we are now united with you. And I don't know if that is a Kundalini experience, because people have said to me, I've had lots of people speak to me or wanting to try and maybe study me in a way. So they would ask things. And so I heard about Kundalini and how you can move the energy up and force it up and do all these things. But I never ever done that. And I started to have all these mini experiences as well, and I couldn't stop it. So it was like maybe like a continual sexual energy inside me, and wanting to try and work out, like, how do I stop it? Like, how do I actually calm it down? So instead of me trying to pull it up and through me, it was more like it was living inside and then wanting to try and move it down. And it was spontaneous. So it wasn't something that I actually willed or did these things that I understand that Kundalini does do. I think, like I even went to shopping centers and I'd have orgasms, not just through my body, my skin, but also, in the sexual areas. And they would just pulsate. So it was like a continual pulsing. I have learned, I've been guided to manage that more now. And I kind of am more aware of that relationship with it. And I allow that energy to be. And I agree with something that you do say, because other people around me have also had some form of activation. And I recognize that this too can also be a place where there can be healing done. There can be that form, but it has to be something where, like you took the receiving of the love within inside of you. And so the energy can be very strong. And I've got a feeling that for you, you're going to intensify this more. I'm going to ask you to not try and work out if it's Kundalini or if it's something else, or if it's Tantra or whatever these terms are. I'm going to actually ask you to forget about all these words and these labels and terms, and actually go in and feel the energy, and not try and like will it up or rise it up through you. Rather be with it and start having a beautiful relationship with it. Because once you surrender more into this, I find that it will become more stronger than like asking it, is it Kundalini? Is it this? Is it like this? And what is the context of that word and what does that mean? Because then it goes into all this. We want to remove, I like to remove that away and say, fall in love with it and be with it. Don't try and do anything. Just allow and feel that place inside your belly and your womb and enjoy it. And don't think about it and just play with it a lot more. I don't know if I answered your question, but I hope I gave you something.
Thank you so much, Ranjeet. There's a question from online. Someone is asking about the relationship between breatharianism, and I'm going to generalize it and say healing. They're specifically asking about the capacity to heal scar tissue. Those are their words.
Yeah. Everything is possible in the light of who we are. Your scar tissue is already healed, and it's just that you haven't caught up with it yet. And I think with if we use the word breatharian in the context of that you're not consuming, if you rest your digestive system, the body will go to other places in order to nourish it. And light will come more into your body. And you can actually be taken to spaces in the, I call it my palace, in the kingdom of the glory. And you can be taken into a room and there is surgery or something that can happen. It's happened to me. There's been certain things that have occurred, like suddenlies and spontaneous things. This is why the sexual energy is so beautiful as well. So the answer is yes, but are you wanting to surrender more into the fact that you are actually already healed? And so that the mind can catch up to you at some point. And because many times people will fall back into the old programming or the reactive behavior, or they want to try and really will this through. And this is why I always say, everything is already done. You are whole and healed. There is no trauma there in your scar. It was always a lie. You are pure and perfect in the greater one that's inside of you. And yes, the less that you have digesting in your stomach, the more the physical can actually catch up, and so can the mind.
Thank you, Ranjeet. Just want to turn to see if there are any more questions. Yeah. This is Diana, and she is in a process here at Eden Center right now, Pranic process with Nicholas.
Oh,
She just started.
Hello.
hello.
My question is, you said you went into a kind of void where everything was stripped from you.
Mhm.
And how did you got yourself out and what happened afterwards?
Yeah, that's a lovely question. So no money. Okay, so no money coming in to the bank account. No, my ex-partner took everything, and that's okay. I was not here, and I did walk a lot. I did end up at my parents' place. They could not understand me, and there was lots of challenges. Probably a point where they probably could have taken me to the hospital in this world. And but for some reason, I knew that was not going to happen because I had so much faith in my three angels. I recognized and I saw things happen where you are kind of like immune to everyone else around you. So you're immune to the situation that you're in. And every moment becomes the unknown. And then when you move into this unknown, you start to trust it. And there was something inside of me so deep that said, we will take care of you. And I fell into that. And you know what? Everything has, because in that time frame, I say in the last 2 to 3 years, everything is already being recreated and coming back greater and faster than it was even taken away. So now I'm living in my own place, and I have been here for some time. I pay my own way, and I'm happy to do that. And I create my own wealth. We are in a wealth transference at the moment, and I saw being myself, I'm completely sovereign being, and I'm completely independent, and I have more faith and trust in everything that's greater than me, and plus my 3 angels and beings that are with me, that we become one. And I do not have any concerns or worries. But I don't know how I really got through it, except I allowed the future, which I could not see exactly what it was, but what I was told inside of me to be my truth. And I fully create these thoughts of belief in my mind. And I could not see what other people saw. There were videos, that's actually a deep dive of the Soul Group, where I had a $80 LG phone. I didn't have any Wi-Fi, and I used to walk for hours, and I used to find free Wi-Fi, and I would basically transmission. And nobody knew, no one knew. I never shared because it wasn't something I was focused in. That, you know, I was stripped away of everything. And all I kept feeling was this place of joy. And just took one step at a time and just knew that something else was going to happen much more faster than I could do it myself. So you can watch these videos, people follow me, and I look back on them, and I just love the moon, and I love the sun, I love nature, and abundance was everywhere. I didn't see myself being stripped away. I saw myself being whole. And you become aware that you are the planet. That's sort of like you are all the treasures and resources inside of you. And you end up leaning on the light more and trusting that more than anything else. I literally was homeless, and I know many people being in this place, but I did not find it to be a trauma. I rather found it to be a blessing. And how I got through it, even finding this place I'm living in right now, I actually found it through walking. I live very close to the city, and I still pay rent, and it's actually $200 cheaper than someone living next door to me. And it's just, I bought a car, you know, purchased the car that I always wanted to have. And my 3 angels live with me in my car. I spend a lot of time in my car. I drive a lot, play a lot of music, and sing, and have a lot of gratitude for every little thing. I just recently bought my computer that I'm on right now. You have something specific. I think you want to ask me something specific.
Yeah, no, just thank you.
Thank you too. You keep going, and allow everything to rise up in you. No matter what it is, don't suppress it down. Allow everything to come up. Allow it all and love on it. if I was there, I would hug you so much. You're very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjeet. A deep dive in the soul is on Facebook. So
Yeah.
for those of you who are registering that in your mind and you want to connect, that's one way that you can. I'm in that group, and Ranjeet is always posting so many beautiful things. I feel super blessed by this talk myself. And also, we have one more question that has arisen. And then there's someone else here that wants to say hello. But the first question was, thank you for this lovely chanting that you were doing, the sounding that you were doing during the talk. The question was, it a particular language? And the request was, will you please do more of it as we end the talk? Before we do, that's a request, and you can answer
The
that.
answer, yeah, no particular language.
Okay.
It was kind of, it's there's just so much love in it for me personally, and it created so much joy, and I just lots of people like it, and it allows me to tap in deeper into the space, and it also feeds me. And yes, I can sing for sure on the way out, and because we must be coming close, I'd say.
Yes. We're closing it up now, but also,
Oh, my sister. Oh my
Hi, Ranjeet.
gosh.
We
I
wait
love
in
you.
Italy the next year.
I'm coming. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm definitely coming. Yes.
I think you're going to get a lot of hugs, Ranjeet.
I love you so much. I really, 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 with everything, so much love. Look at the people who, oh, got goosebumps. Yes, I love you, Timo, Amor, Matteo, love you, my brother. I love you.
He's here. I'm sure he heard that. Thank you, Ranjeet, for creating such a precious circuit of love for us here and for everyone, for all of life. We feel it.
I like to ask permission, and the permission is when I come next year, can I please bring more fire?
Yes, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes for everyone. Yes, please. We're ready. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bless you.